Welcome to part 2 of carving a Santa Claus Christmas tree ornament. In this video we're going to cover shaping and details. My name is Harry. Let's get started. I went ahead and did some work on the hat. I've still got some more to do. I'm going to take this down a little bit more, but this part here, it was sticking way out because I had to carve the face back in, so I wouldn't move that back. And then I'll continue to shape it and give more definition between there. I'm thinking about adding a collar right in here and then having the hair go down in behind the collar. It'd be a fur trim collar. Okay, I've done a little bit off camera here. I've separated the hair from this section here. This will be the fur trim collar on the top of the jacket, which is probably the only part of the jacket you're going to see because the rest of it's all this beard that's spiraling down. But I've also, like I said yesterday, I took this down a little bit and started shaping it a little bit, bring the hat down a little bit more. Today I'm going to start working more on the face. I got to do some final cuts on this nose, shape it a little bit more and smooth out the face a bit. And then after that, it's probably just going to be pretty much cleaning up and defining edges. By that, what I mean by defining edges is I like sharp, clean edges. Like here, it's kind of, see how it's kind of undefined? Well, I like to take and sharpen those up. That'll make a big difference when you go to finish it with paint or wax or oil, whatever you use. It'll help define this from this. So let's see. How about I'll show you a little bit here. I can use a knife to trim this down, or I can use this guy here to help bring this down, which is probably going to be a little faster. Either way, knife or a gouge. Clean that up a bit. And then again, like I said, I like to clean those edges up. But that'll be the final step. If you keep doing that while you're doing your carving, you're just wasting your time because you're going to have to, you might wind up recarving this area anyway. So after you've got all your final shaping done, then you can move on to your cleanup process. I've still got a lot to do on the face. And now on the face, I'll start by giving this guy a little bit more of a brow ridge by cutting down into this area here with a small gouge. So I apologize for the bad angles. I'm looking into different setups so that you can all see what I'm doing right side up. But that's probably going to be a ways off because I might have to wind up buying a new camera and some kind of system to hold the camera over the bench. And then I need to get some kind of a stool that it's sitting at the right height. I haven't found a stool that's at the right height for this bench yet. It's a low bench, and every shop stool that I find just sits way too high, so I'm bent way down over the bench. So again, money, 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 money. Every time I try to do something, it's got to spend some money. All right, so the nose, I want to give this guy some arch. He's too flat right now. Start narrowing it down on the bridge of the nose a bit. Don't go too much because you've still got a lot of nose to. Every time you make a cut down here, it makes a difference up here. So then you change it here, and then you have to change it down here. So make small cuts. Another thing I want to do is take down underneath the nose here. So right now it's kind of slanted out. I want it to slant in because your nose doesn't, well, some people's noses do, but I want this one to slant in. a little more character here. More of a little angle here, and then bring down the ball of the nose a bit. So I've drawn a kind of a circle here because I want this to be kind of rounded, and then this will go down to form the wings of the nose. So this is where it gets tricky. So using a gouge, I'll go down. I want to go down too far here because then I won't have a wing. So take this back and just do little cuts and reevaluate, see where you need to make some more cuts. Start bringing this back a little bit. Let's draw in some. I want this guy to have some defined wings on his nose here. There we go. Then this will come back up into here like that. Okay. So let's see. Let's try using a little V tool and take that back a little bit. Do the same thing on the other side. Reevaluate, see if they're even. It's hard to see with this light colored wood, but you can see how the wings of the nose are starting to form. So now you're getting into some dangerous territory, because every little cut you make could spell disaster for this guy's nose. So you gotta be careful. So another thing we gotta do is start forming his brow, eyebrows. Like that. Sorry about the angle again. I like to give him a little bit of definition here on this. That helps form the brow. And then we can take this down a little bit more. Got a little more on the detailing. I'm not going into full detail yet. Detailing is the very last thing you want to do. You do the shaping first, and then you do the detailing. As you can see, I've done some more work on the eyes. I've given him some depth in the corners of the eyes. That nose, I might leave him like that. I kind of like rough and rustic for these little guys. It's not like it's going to be a realistic human being. But if you've got something sitting on top of something else, then sharpen that edge. Divide them up. Make them look like one sitting on top of the other. Same down here. I've got a little more work to do on that. But it's obvious that they're not part of the same thing. They're separate things, one sitting on top of the other. I'm at a point now where I can start adding some detail. I've got the mouth, the nose, pretty much where I want them, the eyes, the mustache, beard, all this other stuff. The swirly beard. So now I'm going to start adding detail to the fur here. All I'm doing is taking this little gouge and I'm just kind of flicking randomly. You don't want to do it unless you want to square it up. But you want people's eyes to keep moving around and not just focusing in on one thing. If you don't do this randomly and you do it more of like linearly, then people will have a tendency to focus on that. But little random spots here and there, and it's okay to go back and maybe overlap them a little bit if you think it needs it. But just go around. This part here is going to wait till last. Again, I need to cut into this a little bit further, and I don't want to pop this off if I put too much force on it, trying to hold it to do something else. Now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of this thing. I'm going to start working on his mustache and his beard. And I always hesitate because this is the part that will make or break your carving, putting in the details on stuff like this. But I like to start by giving myself some idea of where to go. We'll try working in some mustache here, and then as it comes out to the ends, it starts to curve up this way. And same here. Just to give us a, and this part here kind of curves in. So what are we going to do? Do we use a V-tool? Let's try using, we've got a couple of different, we've got several different tools. These are U-shaped tools. I guess they're gouges, but it's kind of hard to see. They're kind of small. But they're U-shaped. I'm going to start with a larger one. I don't know, maybe this one. Yeah, that's too big for the beard and mustache. So what I want to do is just start kind of putting in let's move him down a little bit here. Just start giving him some texture, moving in some deep stuff here. And I'm going to use the two different gouges so that we get a variety of texture here. Okay. So see how that's, where's he at? There he is. And do the same thing to the other side. I always like to try to match things. You want to break up any patterns that are forming. You want this to be random looking. Okay, so we broke it up. We got the larger U gouge. Can't remember what they call this thing. But anyway, this tool, I have a variety of tools. This one is Stubai from Austria. And they mark their tools. This one's got a 9 sweep to it. That means it's a 9. And they also, sometimes you'll see two numbers. You'll see the sweep and the width. This one just has the sweep on it. I also use, like this is Flex Cut tools. They don't mark their tools at all. So it's just, I go by size, by eyeballing it. Is that the size of cut I want to make? But you can see that's that's probably more than a 9's probably more like an 11 sweep. All right, now let's take this guy. Oh, this is an 11. It's a little deeper and narrower. So let's take that and work that into some of our cuts here. When I was talking about doing both sides at the same time, I could do this thing to completion using both and then take a break and come back, and then I might be in a different mood and forget which tools I used and come up with something different. So let's keep these guys separate. Put a little, and let's try this. Let's try crossing over here with this one. Try not to nick that lip. And I'll take it down. You need to watch the grain. If it starts tearing when you're carving in one direction, just turn it around and carve the other direction. And you also find that, see now it's wanting to tear. One side of the groove will have grain going in one direction, the other side will have it coming back in the other direction. So you may have to clean it up by working one side of the groove and then coming back and working the other side so that you don't tear it up. See, like that one wants to go this way. All right, I think that's, we'll put some in here. Ah, he wants to tear bad. So usually start at the top of the hill and go down. Okay, that looks pretty good. That'll look better when I get some paint or varnish or something on it. It'll help bring out the shadows. All right, clean that up a little bit later when we finish working it all. All right, now for the beard. That's going to be a tough one. I'm going to have to random designs here, get a little more depth. And let's see if we want to cross over. Now this is going to want to come down this way, so let's try. Start at the top here, and then we can work down into it by coming back the other way. You just kind of follow the general flow of the beard. Don't go down this way and then all of a sudden start coming back this way, because it won't look right. All right, so I've gone all the way around on all the spirals with this medium-sized number 9 U-shaped gouge. And now I'm going to take a number 11, a little bit smaller width, and start going in and start breaking up some of this pattern in here. I already started right here. You can see where it's a little busier than it is down here. So basically that's all you do is just start going in and maybe deepen some of these. Cross cut on some others, break up the pattern, and that's all there is. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be back after I finish that up. So I've carved in his beard, carved in his hair and his mustache and his eyebrows. And one of the things, this is a different style for me. I just started doing this a few years ago. I used to, like on this one, used to take a V-tool and just make a bunch of straight lines. Kind of looks like her hair needs to be washed or something, but that's fine too. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. Just use a V-tool, but vary your lines. This was when I first started getting into using V-tools and gouges and stuff like that, because up to this point I was pretty much just a pocket knife whittler. One of the things you'll find on basswood is that it likes to leave little fine fibers. So I'll take a stiff brush and I'll clean it out, and that removes some of the fibers, but it also gives you an idea of where you need to spend more time cleaning up. I'll take a fine, very fine piece of sandpaper and I'll rub over where the fibers are. And I'm not trying to sand it down, just remove these fibers, because that can take hours if you just use a pocket knife or a gouge to try and clean up all of these little fine fibers. So next thing I want to do is I want to give this hat a little character, so I'm going to put in some gouge out parts of it, make it bend in a little bit, just so that it doesn't look like an ice cream cone, an upside down ice cream cone. Now I've got some creases in his hat here, give it a little character so it doesn't look just plain, and I'm pretty much done now. I've got the ball done. I think that's all I'm going to do on the ball. But everything else is all carved and ready to go. So the next step is clean up this mess on my bench, break out the paints. In the next video of this series, we're going to learn how to paint this guy. If you missed the first part, there'll be a link at the end of the video. Thanks for dropping by. Now get off my lawn.